This might be a very live or very dead kind of live today, right? Welcome, everybody. If you want to pop in, say hi to me. Uh, I am very late today. It has been a busy day, but at the same moment, in saying that, 15 minutes ago, I came to the realization that, oh my goodness, Cindy, you're supposed to be live right now. And 100%. So I'm grateful if anybody shows up tonight, because this is usually around the time when we start ending our evening lives. So you may or may not pop in today, but hopefully this live show finds its way to you tomorrow when you get up, because I know in lots of parts of the world, and the people who come in and hang out with us on Sunday nights, I know it's bedtime for them, right? And we are kind of used to ending the evening at 9 p.m. Central, and instead it is almost that time right now, and I'm just stopping or I just starting. So it may take a few minutes for YouTube to get the notifications out. Like I said, I apologize to my moderators that I know would have been here, Andrew and Owen, Kathy, right? Melvin, you guys, super sorry. And for those of you who do pop in, yay. And again, I apologize. We won't make it a long one tonight. We'll just hang out for just a little bit, just so that I could say, right? Because it is in our failures, right? That we get our lessons. And I felt it when I realized that I should have been live. But right, it doesn't matter what the reason is, whether it's a good reason or a bad reason. This is a part of my week that I am 100% committed to, and I would have felt terrible if I didn't remember, or even worse, remembered and not showing up, just saying, oh, well, you're late anyway, Cindy. Nobody's going to be up. You're going to be entertaining yourself tonight, which I still might have to, but you know what? Well deserved. That will teach me to be on time. It'll teach me to pay attention to the days. You know, when I wake up in the morning, I should have a list right there, because I perfectly know at 7:30 Central that I go live on my YouTube channel, right? We have a routine, and that routine just isn't for me. It's for all those amazing people who do come and hang out with me on my chatters lives, right? And when they do come, they allot that time to me each week. This week, oh, I would feel terrible to think that they sat in front of their computer that whole hour and a half, right? Just wondering if Cindy was going to show up at all, right? And then I would have other people who show up every Sunday who would probably be very worried about me for not being here, because, right, I am pretty consistent. Well, I'm very consistent when it comes to my YouTube, and especially this is what I can do right now, and especially when we have this amazing trip. And that was a part of the reason why I was late today. I did forget. Honestly, I did forget. But I was doing things that were moving me forward, if that's any consolation, right? I was up there. I went up to see my sister, to ask my sister if we could use her credit card so that I don't have to go the hassle, so that maybe I could get a better deal. And plus I could get unlimited mileage, because I am going pretty far, right? I am going pretty far. And I can't afford to spend 50 cents a liter, right? That would add on an extra $360, something like that, to my tag. So why not rent from somewhere's reputable? Is that the word I'm looking for? Yep, right. Somebody with a reputation, somebody that I know that if I just go there, right, have that credit card, do all the paperwork, and know that I could just be there that morning to pick up my vehicle, and I don't have to worry about anything. I don't want to do it all online, divvy out all my money, and then go to get my vehicle and then say, oh, no, you can't, or the vehicle not even be there, right? Because I don't know this company. I would much rather deal with companies that I have dealt with before when it comes to renting vehicles, which I've rented vehicles. Like every once in a while, if my car got in an accident or something, I would have to rent a vehicle or something during that time. Oh, Robert made it today. Robert, I'm so glad you're here. You're going to be my moderator. I was telling everybody here that I was late, that I almost didn't show up tonight. And I'm sure that Owen and Andrew have probably gone to bed, have already gone to bed and missed my live. So you're in charge, Robert. You're head moderator today. Yeah, my fault, but it was a really great talk. I had my sister invited me for dinner. We had that Cheetos macaroni. Is it Cheetos macaroni? Oh my goodness, it was so good. I never tasted anything like that. It was like twice as good at least as Kraft Dinner. So if you ever see those Cheetos macaroni, I think they come in a box like Kraft Dinner, right? And we thought we'd try it because I like Cheetos, right? It's a potato chip that we eat here in Canada. I don't know if you have it in other places in the world, if you have it in the States or not, but Cheetos is absolutely amazing. And their macaroni was so terrific. It was so terrific, actually, that I had to email the company and tell the company how good it was, how amazing this macaroni was. It was really quite fabulous. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to be probably leaving on my trip. I'm going to Thunder Bay, Ontario this week. And I think I've decided to go on Thursday and come back on Monday night or early Tuesday. I'm going to come back. I'm waiting on a microphone, so that will also give me a few days to maybe wait for that microphone to come in. I'm ready to go right now. My camp stuff is all here. My sister's going to be taking care of my cat, feeding my cat. I'm going to make sure that car is all laid out for tomorrow, so I don't have to worry about anything. All I need to do is go there and show up, pick up the vehicle, and off I go. My first true road trip in almost 2 years. It's been almost 2 years, hasn't it? I'm trying to remember when my last road trip was. It probably was when I came back from Toronto. I think that might have been. Mind you, I did go to the park a few times, but that's not the same. That's not road trips. That's just Cindy needing to get in with Mother Nature and just going to a public park. And I haven't put up a video in a while, so let's chit chat as I'm walking through the park, right? Oh, but I did do that video too for Evan Carmichael's celebration in his Built to Serve, when he wrote his book, right, when it was being published, and I wanted to do something to celebrate. That was lots of fun. But that again was just at the city park. I did that at the city park, but I've done that a few times, right? Oh my goodness, Robert, I would love to have some land in that area, up in the mountains like that, in that elevation, and have an amethyst mine, right? And then the plan was to have a retreat, like a mindset retreat there, where people and businesses can send their employees to unwind and stuff, and then maybe have like a conference center and a great big auditorium in there, and have cabins all over the place, and let my guests dig for their own amethysts. Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah. Lots of ideas. Right? Creativity, the things we think of. But yeah, I love that area, Thunder Bay. And I've never been mining before, and it caught my whimsy. And because I did that Trans-Canada Highway trip a couple of years ago, and it was one of the most amazing trips I have ever been on. And my dad, we used to travel all the time. My dad was a nomad. We were always at least once a month he'd load us in the car for a couple of days, and we would just rent motel rooms and stuff, and he would take us for drives, right? We try out new restaurants and go at those times, in those years, in the 70s. I don't know if you remember this, Robert, but in the 70s, we did roadside attractions, Magnetic Hill, the biggest ball of twine. We did Route 66 and Yosemite and oh my goodness, all the big cities, and they would have all their special things that they were proud of, right? No matter what city you went, they were famous for something and had some kind of landmark. But there was one landmark that always stuck out of my mind. And I don't understand why it pops into my mind every time I talk like this about those road trips my dad's. But it was a trip to Cincinnati, and how I remembered seeing that great big arch, right? That great big, it was skyscraper. It was just so tall, but maybe it was because I was just a little kid and I was looking up at it, right? But every time I think of road trip, that pops into my mind. And I don't know what it is, because I've seen so many amazing attractions. Why would that attraction pop into my mind? It was neat, but it was no more neat than driving through Mount Shasta or going through the deserts, or doing Route 66, or driving through the interior and the wilderness of BC. Like, there's so many different adventures, but yeah, the funny things that stick on our brains, right? It is 100%, Robert. Like, that's the best thing to do, right? Is to have dreams. And I was actually talking about that in my live show this morning. I do live shows on Instagram. Oh, my Marilyn Monroe. My sister got me that. When I moved into this apartment, I had this color scheme going on, which was this creamy kind of mauvey brown, and then all my pottery and stuff. And she found that picture for me, and it just fit in quite perfect, right? Quite perfect. And it's funny, I love Marilyn Monroe. When I was a kid, I was a big fan of her movies. And not because she was a sex symbol or anything, or maybe I was a little bit fascinated by that aspect of her life and wondered why men found her so attractive when there was so many beautiful, beautiful women out there. Right? She was beautiful too, but there were beautiful, beautiful women that got no recognition at all. And yet there was some kind of magnitude about her, right? That drew people to her. And yeah, I found her to be very, very interesting. Feeding the bears, not the beers, not feeding the beers, but I'm sure feeding the bears ice cream cones. But how cool is that, Robert? That's super cool. Yeah, that is super cool. And I've had my encounters myself. My dad took us camping, and we had bears come right into our tents, right? We had a hard time. My dad, I think, had to cut us out of the back of the tents and get us out of the tents from the back of the tent, right? Because the bears had gotten in there. Oh yeah, but when I go camping, the foxes steal my food. You have to tie everything up into the trees, 100%. And especially when I go by myself, right? When I go camping by myself, I don't think I'm going to take my tent with me anyway. But I think I'm just going to sleep in the car. And yeah, that'll work out really quite well for me. I'll bring my tent, right? If I find a beautiful site, or I decide to camp, right, and pay a fee for camping, I will. But $25 will buy me 5 pounds, no, 6 pounds of crystal, right? 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 7, it'll buy me 7 pounds of crystal. I gotta every single leftover penny that I have, I'm going to be buying crystal. I'm going to be buying crystal and bringing it home with me, right? I'm going to move it forward. I'm right. I had my friend Marty, who's the president of the Mineral and Crystal Society here in Manitoba, Mineral and Mining Society. I don't know. Super up there. He's a professor at the University of Manitoba, or he was at the very least. And he comes into the store all the time, and we have great conversation. And he's given me a lot of great handy tips for me for when I do go mining on how to find these crystals, not to waste my time digging in the wrong places, that I have certain ways that I can test. And I'll show everybody, right? Because I'll be making videos along the line, right? I'll be making the YouTube videos and posting them out there. And also at the same time, like I said, I'm going to leave on Thursday. I'm not back to work until Wednesday. So I'm going to take off for 5 days. I've decided 5 days will give me enough of a rest, enough taste of being back out in Mother Nature and being with myself and having a kind of adventure that Cindy kind of loves. It will also give me that feedback towards myself as to what I want to do next. Because I know these kind of experiences always change me. They always add something to my life. They always add something to my life, right? And I always come back a little bit different person, or with little bit different ideas of how I could do a better job at moving myself forward, right? I'm going to get some real good insight. I'm pretty certain about in the directions that I want to be going, right? I haven't changed my mind in a lot of aspects of it, but I wouldn't be doing myself justice unless I got away from this, which is the internet kind of influence, right? Because I am online quite a bit. I am taking in my lessons and things, right? Sharon's here. Oh, hi, Sharon. Oh, thank you, dear. Thank you. Yeah, I started my live very, very late. So I know you could see that Andrew and Owen aren't here right now, and that's because they haven't gotten their notifications, right? And I feel very bad for them because they love their Sunday nights, right? They love the conversations that they have, and being my moderators, and I'm so lucky. Look at another moderator here, right? How have you been doing, Sharon? I'm so excited. I was just saying, oh, Mrs. Sister Donna Cantor. Donna Cantor. Mrs. Sister Donna Cantor. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for saying so. Yeah, you guys, I'm leaving on Thursday, I think. I'm going to be on that, renting that car for tomorrow, get that all sorted out. We're going to get those pre-videos in. I think I'm going to do some bottle digging. If we can get this done tomorrow, Tuesday, I will go out and do the finalization of whatever I need to get done. I will go and do some bottle digging just to kind of unwind, because I know that little bit of tension, that little bit of that stress of not knowing what's going on, but trusting everything's going to be okay. So it's going to be a little bit stressful for me, but I just have to believe, right? That's all I have to do. And I do believe, right? I've already committed. I am going on this trip, and it's incredible. Things are just falling into place. But listen to this, you guys. I know, dear. And I hope you don't mind. I was actually kind of talking about that the following day in my Instagram about how you actually came in and like just a week before, and I was all concerned that you didn't see that I was trying to connect with you in the comments and let you know how sorry I was to hear about your husband passing away. But I was so in awe of the strength in you, that knowing that you needed to be around people, and that you actually popped in that very following Sunday and hung out with us for a little bit, dear. I thought, Donna, that was that was absolutely beautiful, and I hope. Well, it hasn't been long yet, right? And it does take time, and one if and nobody wants to say, give advice or right. All we can do is just be here with you and just sympathize for maybe what you're going through. I have been through separations myself, and from my own experience, I do know that time is something that, right, you have to do the time when it comes to grief, right? You have to do the time. But if you want to really speed up that time and be able to move on with your life, uh, it's talking, right, and crying, letting it get out of your system. So many people out there, they treat grief like it's something that they put on a shelf, and maybe I'll deal with it next week or I'll deal with it next month. People go right back to work. You're given your 3 days leave, right? When somebody close to you passes, whether it's a parent or a sibling or a husband or a wife, right? And we grieve, but we don't get better. You can't put a time limit on when we could start feeling better. It is a process, and everybody's process is different, and it's all dependent on how much experience have you got in dear ones passing away, right? Right? It's somebody who's in the past 5 years has maybe had a couple of people and close to them pass away. Well, maybe the person that passes next, that feeling will not linger with you as long as it did with the last two, because you've gone through the process, right? You understand that you can't cry over something, right? And we do. We cry all the time over things that we have no control over, but we have to understand that it is through crying, right? And talking about it. 30 years, right? Your best friend, Donna, right? I hope, right? For to be with somebody for that long. Yeah, I'm very sympathetic to the and right for this time, because we'll be talking about COVID for years down the road. This is a heartache and a pain that isn't easily going to go away, right? This is something like 9/11, right? Like 9/11. This is going to be fresh in our memories for decades down the road. And then for those, right? So I can see that trauma. And I wish Owen was here, right? I wish Owen was here, because Owen would know exactly what to say at this moment, Donna, because Owen was there in those traumatic moments, right? Of 9/11, and he understands trauma. He understands trauma and heartbreak. And that's kind of like what you've gone through, because that that event of COVID actually is tied into your story now forever, right? Forever. So anytime anybody mentions it, you can't help but have that memory drawn back to your husband and your life. That's a hard one to bear, dear. It's going to take a while. No, I certainly hope, Donna, that they are not truly saying that. You don't come across to me as somebody who lies at all. But that is, oh my goodness, those are people that you don't need in your life right now, even if they're family, even if they're close friends. You don't need people like that, because you can't give that kind of advice. The only reason they're saying that is because they feel uncomfortable with your grief, right? That's why they're saying that. And so, okay, if you're uncomfortable with that, please just say that you're uncomfortable with being yourself and being normal and having fun and enjoying life, right? Because this death does not impact that person as much as it impacts you. But that's heartbreaking, especially if it's from friends or family that have said that to you. You take as long as it takes for you to grieve. My marriage was like a death to me. I loved my husband more than anything, right? I would have done anything. I was that person. I would have molded myself into whatever my husband needed, but my husband knew, right, that I wasn't being myself if I were to do that. And in the end, it was the best thing that we could do, but it didn't help in that pain. That pain felt like a true death to me, right? Yeah, and for me not to have grieved for as long as I did, and I grieved for a long time. I was devastated, heartbroken, trash my whole life, trash for the longest time. I brought people down with me, but I never expected anybody to hang out with me in my grief, right? If anybody had said you've grieved enough, right? I would have yeah, no, I'm not hanging out with you because I need to grieve how I grieve. And like I said, some people they do that. They have expectations that they only get their 3 days off from work for mourning, and then everything's supposed to go back to normal and you go back to work and your cheery self, but you're not yourself. You're living a life. You're not presenting the person that you are. And I would never say not be genuine. If this takes months, if this takes years, take it, dear, and not feel guilty, not feel guilty about it, right? And you know what? I understand don't play the victimhood. I understand that we're not supposed to play victim. That's all negative and stuff. But there is time. Grief is totally, it doesn't even belong in that realm of thinking at all, right? Because you're going to grieve, even if you should meet somebody else. I know 30 years in your life, but right, you don't want to be alone forever. And I know you're not even thinking about that now, but if that opportunity arises, right, you don't want to be holding on to that guilt, because if something good tries to come into your life, you'll hold it off, right? You need to grieve properly, that so to get to the point where you're just remembering the good times, the great conversations, the wonderful, wonderful moments that you had together, and then be able to do that with a smile and not have your heart break every single time, right? That you have this image of him, or somebody mentions him, or the anniversary shows up, or when you can't get out of bed in the morning, or when you go to bed at night and you see that empty spot beside you, right? You take as much time as you need, dear. And you know what? I have the greatest crew here. And even though Owen's not here, Andrew's not here, oh my goodness. Do you see who's here? Do you see who's here? Sharon's here. She's beautiful and just as loving, right? Melvin's here, right? Melvin's here. And Robert, who understands trauma and sadness and heartbreak himself. He's here too, right? And this is exactly what Sunday nights are for, right? This is what we've been doing for each other for the past 2 years, right? Living through this hellish kind of messed up world for the past couple of years, but know that we can find some kind of semblance and friendship and relationships, right? Find relationships, friendships, right? And come here Sunday night, and no matter what the issue, no matter who has a problem that night, they know they could just dump it here, and they're going to have whoever's in the comments envelop them, right? Yeah. Oh, so your sister too, right? So this is the process, right? And if you hadn't dealt with your sister's passing, um you could imagine how much more difficult your husband's passing would have meant to you, what it would have done to you, right? So it's hard, but yeah, understanding that that it is a process, to understand that it takes as much time as it takes. It's the strength of that relationships. It's the memories tied into it. It's the love and the respect, right? All the adventures in life, 30 years invested. Are you kidding me? Owen made it? Did Owen make it in here? No. Oh, that's our big bridge of size, right? That's our bridge of size, dear. And she doesn't realize that Owen and Andrew, this is the first Sunday ever that they haven't made it in. They're probably in bed already. They're probably in bed, and you know why? Because Cindy was late tonight. Because Cindy was making arrangements with her sister for the vehicle, for my trip that I'm heading out. I've decided I'm going to be leaving on Thursday, and I will come back Monday night or Tuesday morning. I'll come back to the city. So yeah, I'm doing my trip. I talked to my sister. My sister's gonna just don't worry about it. She'll deal with it, and then whatever loose ends I have, I'll just give her that money on payday, which is this Friday anyway. So it's going to be perfect. Everything is just falling into place. Everything is falling into place. So yeah, 100%, Donna. Like, take as much time, and I hope to see you here every Sunday. Every Sunday. If anybody can pull you out, of right what you're going through right now, it's this crew, 100%. And it's not necessarily even pulling you out of it, but it's just making you see you can grieve and rejoice in your life at the same time, right? You can, 100%. So hopefully you come in on Sunday nights, and if you can get a smile, even one smile in through our silly antics here, right? It's worth it. And again, I'm very sorry for the loss of your husband. But I'm very grateful that you knew to come straight here, not to miss the Sunday, just to pop in anyway and let everybody know what's going on. Because yeah, we do have an amazing crew. Thank you, Sharon, for contributing so much tonight. Thank you, thank you, Melvin, and thank you, Robert. 100%. Thank you, Robert, for everybody for holding up the ship for Owen and Andrew, and they'll watch this. YouTube will make sure that they get this video tomorrow. It'll be in their feed, or they'll get a notification or something. Or maybe they'll just wonder, right? Because those two about me, right? They're very kind of protective of me, and they're probably worrying tonight as to what happened to Cindy. See, there we go. Like I said, right? We were just talking about that, Kathy, that how I totally forgot about tonight. I did. I thought of it this morning. I knew what the plan was, but then today was Doors Open Winnipeg, and I was so excited to be involved. It's my one volunteer that I do here in Winnipeg. If you look at my Instagram, it's an organization that actually protects the architecture of Winnipeg, that protects the history of Winnipeg and tells the tales of the stories of these buildings, right? It's once a year. I volunteer my time for it, and if I was a millionaire, it would be my charity, 100%. And it was downtown, and then I thought, oh, walk home, Cindy. It's a nice evening. Walk home. And so I walked home, and then I just said, Cindy, we're going to deal with this vehicle. Let's find out how we're going to do this vehicle. Let's go see if my sister Alice would mind just putting it on her credit card, and then I'll just pay for it on payday, and then I just don't even have to worry about the deposit or anything because it's being done on a credit card. So I don't have to worry about going to one of those places that, I don't know, they felt kind of sharkish, number one. And I'm not saying that they were, just in case things fall apart and I still have to, rent my car from one of them, right? but the way you had damage deposits and you had to pay by the kilometer and stuff. And I just want to be able to drive. You guys, it's been a long time since I've been on the road, and I am so looking forward to this trip, right? I really truly feel like I need it. Like I physically need it. It's like I'm really going out there to recharge like a battery. I'm hoping to do some urban explorations. I hope I come across some abandoned farms or abandoned houses, or maybe I'll see something interesting on somebody's property and I'll get the nerve to go and knock on the door and ask if I could take a look, right? If I could take a look at something interesting. I'm going to be taking my camping gear with me, my tent and my sleeping bags and everything. But I'm not sure whether I'm going to camp, because I actually want to save every penny that I possibly can to bring as much crystal home as I can. $4 a pound. $4 a pound. What if I find a crystal that weighs, a crystal cluster that weighs 50 pounds, right? That weighs 50 pounds. And then it's at $4 a pound. 4 times 50, that's $200 right there. So like I said, yeah, not like I'm going to find a 50-pound crystal, but I could, right? This, where I'm going to go mining is renowned for some of the very best amethyst in the entire world. So, and like I said, I've gotten some expert advice from actual crystal president from the Crystal and Mining Society. I don't know. I have to find out properly how to refer to them, because I'm sure I'm going to mention them in my videos. But also, like I said, I'm hoping to do some urban exploring, some video of me on the road. I've also want to do some inspiring posts on some topics that are dear to me, that as I'm moving forward in my brand, that I want to make sure that they're important. They're forefront in my thoughts, that when I tie it to Mother Nature and my adventures and stuff, that I'm able to do my mindset, that I'm able to do my mindfulness, that I could be able to put out my good cheer out there, that I could do, right? I could do the shine. Maybe I could do some of that ASMR, right? That ASMR stuff, and really take some beautiful video of me walking through the farm fields and stuff, because it is season, it is crop season, it is time for harvest. And what if I drive through a little community, and that little community is having a fall supper? I'm going to have to stop, right? And we'll do a mukbang, right? We'll do another mukbang, and I'll show everybody the beautiful Chinese auctions they do and their dessert tables. Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? I never even thought of the fall supper. But maybe that's something we can do when I get back. When I get back, we'll do a trip. We could do a day trip shortly after I get back, because I'm hoping to have, right, I get back into that wheel of posting on YouTube actual videos and not just doing the lives on Sunday night. So I want to start off with these, but let's hope we can carry on that momentum, right, and be able to do some more adventure videos, right? Even if they're just one-day trips and stuff. I want to give it a real shot, right? Because I do love Mother Nature, and I do love social media, and I do love doing videos. I'm just not very fond of editing. But you guys have never been really fussy. I put out some really kind of messed up kind of videos where the sound was bad and the music was too loud and the wind was blowing, right? And you loved them anyway. You loved my videos anyway. So yeah. Let's look at some of these comments here. But yeah, Kathy, I'm so happy that you made it in here tonight. But yeah, that's what happened. So I was working, and she invited me for dinner, and I was up there. I was having dinner. I walked home from downtown because her doors open Winnipeg. I went on the elevator, went straight up to her apartment, and then we had dinner, and we chit-chatted, and I talked to her about whether or not we could just use her credit card and book that vehicle, because I was ready to go tomorrow. But now that I'm thinking, I still have to tie things up. I have to make sure that I have absolutely everything, right? I just don't want to pick up the car tomorrow and then spend all day tomorrow just getting the stuff sorted, what I needed and stuff, and then coming back in and then having to clean the next day. No, the whole time that I have the vehicle, I want to be on the road. I'm not wasting that any of that time with that vehicle, with it being parked out front of my apartment building. No, the moment I rent it, I'm coming home, grabbing my stuff, loading up the vehicle, making a short video, right? Hey, you guys, off I go. How exciting is this, right? And then off I go. And we're going to have an amazing venture, you guys, right? We're going mining. Who would have thought? Cindy the miner. And if I like this and if the opportunity arises, yeah, you watch out. I'll buy my own amethyst mine in the Thunder Bay area, right? And just like Robert was saying, I'll just buy property and live up there 100%. Let's take a look at some of these comments. Oh, you saw that. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Oh, you did. Yes, Sharon, I'm digging for amethyst. I'm going to Thunder Bay. It's halfway between here and Toronto. It's funny. It's the same time of year, isn't it? If we think about it, right? Because you were here 2 years ago. If you don't know, Sharon, this is Sharon. S. Wolf is Sharon. And she actually came up to visit me from California. And, excuse me, my sister invited me for dinner. And we were trying the Cheetos macaroni. You guys, if you haven't tried the Cheetos macaroni, you guys got to try that stuff. That's to die for. That makes craft dinner look like plain noodles. I tell you, that was just, and oh, it was so good. I can't stop raving about it, but that's what I'm burping up right now. But yeah, at this exact time, Sharon, was it not that I did the trip to Toronto and you came up to Winnipeg and visited me? Yeah, Sharon came here and she spent 2 weeks with me. And yeah, we had a beautiful visit. It was the first time and the only time I ever had visitors in the whole time I've been separated. I never had anybody in my house. And it was lovely. And I was a stress mess for sure, because I was in the exact same situation then as I was now, wasn't I? Right? And it all worked out. It all fell into place. My exact plan, the way I set out to do it, turned out even better. And if you don't know that story, you can check out those posts, because I posted all about those trips in my posts, my Minneapolis trip and my Toronto trip. Yes, I did those trips by myself. That's how I like to travel. Is I like to do it by myself, only for the fact that I don't have to entertain people that don't have the same interests as me, right? I would drive you crazy. You would be sitting in the front seat wanting to listen to the radio, and I would be giving talks on positivity and pointing at buildings and talking about histories. You wouldn't be able to relax, because I'd be like, look at that, look at that, look at that. Oh, did you know this? And that's the way it would be. But also, that wouldn't be fun for me, because that time is meant for me to be reflective, meant for me to give up on the world for a little bit, forget about other people, just to be on the road, to be with myself, and just kind of enjoy this as a true vacation. Okay, you guys, I had some amazing little gifts this past week. It was just absolutely amazing to realize how much people care, how people are actually watching my content and paying attention, because they would have to be paying attention in order for these kindnesses to be directed at me, right? Not going to mention any names, right? Because some of them are here now, right? With us now in the comments. But I did get an e-transfer. Somebody sent me a little bit of money to enhance my trip. 100%, right? 100% to enhance my trip. And absolutely dazzled me, amazed me. It filled my heart. My heart just like went like a balloon. I just couldn't believe these kindnesses, right? I had a customer, one of my regular customers, come to work, and she listens to my lives here on YouTube, and she said, I would like to contribute to your gas tank, Cindy. And she gave me $20 and for my gas tank for the trip. I thought, wow, how amazing. How what do I why do I deserve this? Here I am feeling guilty, right? Feeling a little bit guilty because people are out there looking for jobs or getting back to work, and here I am thinking, "Oh, vacation time." But I have to keep in mind that I have earned that right to take some vacation time. And it's right, I contribute to that paycheck. It's paid vacation, right? I earn that vacation, and it's time for a vacation, but at the same time it's time for me to make some moves, right? It's time for me to make my movement. And because I'm sharing my journey, and because I have questions about where I'm going next and what I want to do with my life and how this all ties up, right? And then I had somebody else give me a gift card for the grocery store, right? $50, right? How sweet was that? So that I could buy treats for the road. Now I've been picking up things here and there, adding to my bin, right? So that I have snacks for the road and everything. But now I'm not buying anything because $50 is more than enough to buy me all kinds of amazing munchies and treats and stuff for my trip. So maybe we should talk a little bit about the guilt I feel, right? And that's what it is, right? When people are just starting to go back to work, right? Just starting to go back to work, and here I am starting a vacation, right? And there was that little bit of guilt and shame, especially when, you know, people are sick, right? People are dying, right? People are dying. People have miseries and sadnesses. They don't want to be reminded of the things that they don't have right in this moment, right? But this is for me too, because my life isn't without struggles too. But this, to me, I'm considering a little bit of calm, a little bit of energy before I get back into the mix of it, because I would really like to see if I could get on top of my life a little bit better, a little bit to the point where somebody would reflect on my life and actually pay compliments to how I'm living my life. And I look at my sister and I see she does well for herself. She has a job. She gets to go out on her own kind of adventures and the kind of things that she likes to do. She likes to hang out with musicians and stuff, but that's her life. That's right. And have at her. It's not my life. It's not what I love to do, but this is her path in life, right? And I find her life absolutely amazing because she does so well for herself when it comes to her life, her children, her grandchildren, her job, where she stands in her finances, in her life, and herself, and she's done so well for herself. She's within the same family as me, and yet I live a totally different, frivolous, carefree. There's another word that frivolous, is that the word? Right. I don't take stock of where things are when it concerns the economic part of how I live, right? And it was something that I never learned. It was nothing that was ever taught to me, even though there were like family studies in school, even then, besides budgeting. But budgeting should have been enough to teach me about finances, right? Right? My experiences with my first credit cards and then having to declare bankruptcy, that should have been an indicator of how to deal and how to learn from my mistakes and in my failures for it not to happen again. But now I find myself in the same situation, and right, right, Bankruptcy is not an option, right? I want to be responsible. I want to be that person where people would look at me and say, she's doing so well for herself. She's taking responsibility for her actions, for her movement forward, and what a good job she's doing. But in order to have those things said about me or to me or directed at me, I have to be that person. So I am taking this one frivolous, carefree, irresponsible trip and love it, not feel guilty about it, feel like I deserve it. And after it's done, it's been a rough couple of years. Okay, if that's the band-aid I need, that's what I need to rejuvenate myself, make some space for some good things to come in my life, to be able to re-energize so I could get back into the mix and buckle down and do an even better job when I come back, right? A year from now, I'll pick a different adventure, maybe a more magnificent adventure, a more costly adventure. Why? Because I learned a little bit about budgeting. As much as I know that I'm ready for this break, right? This is going to provide so much in the way of direction for me, understanding for me, revelations. 100%. 100%. I wish Owen and Andrew would have made it today because they haven't missed a day forever and ever and ever. And even though that's 100% my fault tonight, 100% my fault tonight for being so late, I did show up. And Andrew, Owen, I know you're going to be watching. I know you'll get a notification. You'll watch it tomorrow when you get up with your morning coffee or in the afternoon, right? And I'm sorry for anybody else who popped in at 7:30 expecting that I was going to be here and I wasn't. I do apologize, right? It's important to be responsible. It's important to be apologetic, right? And they say that that is a negative word, that this brings negativity to our strengths, makes us feel weak or meek. But that's not true at all. I have only respect for anybody that could find the strength of themselves in themselves to admit when they're truly wrong, when they've hurt somebody, right? My dad was never one for saying sorry. I don't ever remember my mother or my father ever apologizing for anything. And I remember actually making a mental note like, you should be apologizing. This is all your right. Why aren't you saying sorry? Right? But they would always show me that they were sorry by the actions they took, right? My dad would come home and right say, oh, go get movies, go get comic books, right? Go get a case of pop, right? Come and get out of bed, when your mom goes to bed and come and sit with me and watch MASH with me, right? There were different ways that my dad found to apologize, right? He apologized through his actions, right? He showed the example to show that he was truly sorry. And I recognized it as much as, well, maybe not as much, because it is nice to hear when somebody recognizes that they're apologetic, right? Because if they don't apologize, if they're just showing that they're sorry through their actions, it's almost like somebody who does say they're sorry, but then they go, right? Just like that. I'm sorry, but, right? And then they go explain as to why they did whatever, why they hurt you, or why they messed up your life, or why they yelled at you, whatever the reason is, right? But they always stick that word, but, right? I'm really sorry, but, right? And that's what just saying sorry with an action, with, right, without actually saying those words. And for me, when somebody apologizes, and I had that experience about a month ago. I had a customer come in and he was bidding on the silent auctions at my work, and he asked a question, and the gentleman I worked with didn't quite get the question. right? And said something different, right? And so I just kind of walked up and I just kind of gave him the right information. I just said, oh, da 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 da, right? And which is exactly how the auction is set up through my boss's direction. And his head spun around like he was the exorcist, like he was in the movie Exorcist. He was just like this, and he just let me have it. I didn't ask you anything. If I want your opinion, I'll ask you for it. And he just let me have it. Oh, my feelings were so hurt because I only meant to help him, right? I only meant, and I went up there as a customer service kind of situation. But I caught him in that second, that he was irritated by something and he decided to let me have it. And I just looked at him and I just went, okay. And I turned around and I went back to what I was doing. About 5 minutes later, he had tracked me down in the store and he said, I just wanted to apologize to you. What I said was 100% uncalled for. I would have walked out that door and I would have been so ashamed of myself if I hadn't sought you out to apologize to you specifically. That was 100% uncalled for. And I appreciated your input. And there was no but, right? And he could have put a but there, right? Because he had his own ideas about me not opening up my mouth, and if I wanted it, if he wanted my opinion, he would ask for it. He had his opinions on those things, right? But he bit his tongue, and he actually gave me what I needed. And I said, "Oh my goodness!" And I came right out and I told him, I says, "Yeah." I says, I turned around and my heart was broken, and I says, and I'm the type of person who would have fed on that heartbreak all day long, right? I would have thought about him, right, cranking at me, and I would have been extra nice, right? But I would have been extra nice because I thought I would have done that. I had done something wrong. That I was maybe he was going to complain to the manager or something, right? Like, you don't know. People have these reactions and sometimes they blow them right out of whack, right? And then it becomes like a corporate situation over something so silly that you don't even really understand what went wrong. But inside their head, it's turned into something huge, right? Okay, let me go back to some of these comments here. I was just looking at Sharon's here. Oh yeah, I'm going to Thunder Bay, Ontario. That's the comment I'm at now. So we're working my way down, Sharon. Yeah, I'm going to Thunder Bay, Ontario. I'm going to be doing some rock hounding too along the Lake Superior, the northern part of Lake Superior, because a lot of those crystals would have been knocked out of the banks also. And there were agates and geodes and all kinds of neat rocks. I've been studying, you guys, about rock hounding, about semi-precious gems and how to identify them and stuff. I don't know if I call myself any kind of expert, but when I do go rock hounding, I'll make sure to take everybody with me. So you'll be doing a little bit of rock hounding. So this week we'll be doing the bottle digging, right, as an introduction, and I'll be chit-chatting a little bit more about this trip during that video when I go digging. And hopefully my new microphone that I ordered in will get here on time for me to make that video. If it doesn't, right, it's going to be amazing anyway. I'm not going to worry about it. I have a list of things that I have to do, most of it inside my head, but it needs to go on paper now so I can start doing the checklist, because we don't want to forget anything. We don't want to be halfway there and find out that we got to turn around, right? That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. This is an adventure, you guys. This is Cindy on the road. It's road trip time. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And I did too, Sharon, right? I hit the road without any sleep that night. I didn't even sleep that night because remember what I said, that I had miscalculated the amount of money that it was going to cost me to get to Toronto. And I thought I was short money, Sharon. Do you remember that? Because I calculated it. And when I calculated it online, it said that it was going to cost me $350 in gas to get to Toronto. Well, that very night before I was leaving, I actually went back in just to see if there was a price change, right? Because prices go up and down quite often in gas, and I wanted to see if the price had gone down. But this time, I went into a Canadian site and it gave me a different amount of money. And it was because I didn't calculate it. I thought it was $350, but it was actually $350 US. And we know that there's a big difference between the Canadian dollar and the US dollar, right? So I went into a little bit of panic mode. I didn't get any sleep. And it was funny too, because that very same night, and Sharon did this to me too. Sharon, you did this to me on my Toronto trip. Sharon gave me a thank you card, a beautiful card that I've kept to this day. It's in my trip to Toronto book, because I it was part of that time. It was part of that story, right? And she gave me a card, and inside this card, she had given me $50. And she said, Cindy, I would like to contribute to your trip to Toronto. Don't think I didn't forget about that, Sharon. Don't think for a minute that I forgot about that. And I insisted, no, 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 no. And I wasn't going to take that money. Why? Because Sharon had her own struggles in life. And it was actually partially my fault too, right? Yeah, feeding her hard, crunchy food. Hard, crunchy food. Yeah, and she ended up needing a dentist when she got home, right? But I'm glad it all worked out. It all worked out on the end, right? But wow. That's beautiful, Sharon. You got a $50 gift card too. You know what? It really sounds like you're in a really good complex. I know you grumble and complain and everything, but you know that you've told me many times about the wonderful things that that complex has done for you. Like it meals, right? And then at Christmas and stuff. But now to hear this one that they walked around and just gave everybody an extra $50 gift card. Yeah, that's kindness 100%. Yeah, but I couldn't believe the kindness is coming at me this week. And then being on the elevator and going upstairs and just say, Alice, can you deal with the car for me? Right? This isn't my thing. Like, I don't like to deal with this kind of stuff when I don't have that kind of authority in me. It would have been different if I had a credit card and I could walk in there like the queen, right? But I didn't have that. Say, I'd be walking in there like, oh, help me out, right? I don't have a credit card. Let's wheel and deal and get me in a car and be beholden to somebody else's scrutiny and judgment, right? These are still issues that I'm working through. And I'm getting better and better and better all the time. And maybe there will come a point where I don't even have to deal with those things. Wouldn't that be absolutely amazing, right? Just do what I want to do. Go off and make my videos and then hand the videos off to my video editor and then have them deliver all those amazing videos to you guys. That would be my dream, you guys, right? My dream life, just to hit the road. And I would actually have to take my cat at that point if I had decided to hit the road. But maybe we could do it in a fifth wheel. Wouldn't that be fun, right? Be like my own concert, right? I remember going to see Donny Osmond and them pulling up in the great big buses. I remember that. And I've recently become reintroduced to Donny Osmond too. I think I'm following Donny Osmond on YouTube. I think I'm following him on YouTube. His content's being suggested to me, and I've checked out his last couple of songs. He's putting songs out there. He's producing songs out there still. Yeah, I'll have to email Owen and Andrew, I'll email them after my live tonight just to apologize that we came in late tonight. Oh, Angry Birds made it in tonight too. Yeah, it was bad timing tonight. I just wanted to show up though, right? Oh, go away, little girl. Oh, I remember that one, right? What about Dream? Dream, 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 dream. I love Donny Osmond. I was a big Donny Osmond fan. Oh, thank you, Sharon. Yeah, I'm glad you made it in at least to say hi today. But you don't have Andrew to hold you up in that conversation, right? And I don't even know what the topic would have been for tonight for you, dear, if you were to pop into the conversations. But yeah, I did want to show up tonight, right? So I will make sure that Owen and Andrew, they pop in. I put the chat replay on there so that they can catch the conversations and the chat, and let them know I am sorry. I am very, very sorry. And I won't be here next Sunday unless I can get to McDonald's or a Tim Hortons in Thunder Bay on Sunday night. Yeah, I'm going to be on the road, you guys. So next Sunday, I probably won't show up unless, like I said, I can get to the Wi-Fi, like at a Tim Hortons or a McDonald's or something. Then I will go live. And yeah, we'll just kill all the data for the month. And yeah, it'll be fun no matter what the trip. I'll have lots of footage. We can miss 1 week. It's not going to be a big deal. And for Owen and Andrew, they'll be missing 2 weeks, but they'll survive. I know they'll be survived. It'll be like they're on vacation too. They didn't have to show up here on a Sunday night to entertain all you guys. And they don't entertain. They actually contribute and enjoy that conversation as just as much as anybody who shows up here on Sunday night. Okay, everybody. I think that's it for tonight. Yeah, next time you see me, you'll get a video first, because as soon as I get back, I'll upload a video right away. I'll do a video before I go to we're really going to start stuffing things in now, but we're going to do the bottle dig video, and we'll fill you in a little bit more about this trip that's going on, so you have something to entice you while I'm away. Okay, everybody. We'll see each other next Sunday. I'm glad Angry Birds came in here. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Melvin, for holding up the ship tonight. Thank you, Kathy, for coming on in. Yeah, we made it here tonight. I know it's late, so I'm not going to keep everybody up tonight, because I know you guys. I know you're going to stay up and hang out with me as long as I'm live. So I'm going to call it a night right now. And yeah, we'll see you when we see you. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.